Today we're continuing another short video card series thing that we've been doing. We're still on the Miss Marvel pack. Today we're going to be doing Tackle and Endurance. These are two interesting cards. The one I use a ton. The one is kind of choice, I guess. I sometimes use, I sometimes don't use. It's kind of a weird card, but I think I still like it. But anyway, do me a huge favor. If you have not yet, make sure to hit the like button, hit subscribe. We're past 5,000 subscribers. We're on the road to 10K. Hopefully we can get there. And make sure you go follow over on twitch.tv/D20 Woodworking. The live streams have been so much fun recently. We've been doing a ton of different things there. So make sure you go check that out. Sundays, Tuesdays. Sundays are Marvel Champions. Tuesdays is kind of whatever flex game we want to play. And Fridays, we've been doing a lot of PvP with novels. So let's go check out the cards. All right, so the first one we have is Tackle. And I feel like Tackle was obviously it was an early card with Miss Marvel, and it's a card I like. I mean, 3 cost to stun an enemy is kind of expensive, and if you pay for it using a fist resource, you deal 3 damage to an enemy, which like 3 for 3 damage is really bad, but it's not the worst thing in the world. This is a card that if I'm doing that kind of stun lock trait or stun lock archetype in protection, I will play this card. It definitely has its uses. I think now that we've got further along in the game, we're seeing stun and confuse be implemented a little bit easier, usually in hero kits, right? A lot of hero kits have the ability to stun or confuse. A lot of newer ones, I should say, have the ability to stun or confuse a bit easier than I would say Tackle does. But if you're playing an older hero or you want to like make sure you can really stun the enemy while playing protection, I think it's a great option. It just does seem like nowadays it's a little expensive for what it does. Like it feels like now, if it was going to stun an enemy, it would also do like a little bit more damage without the strength resource requirement, right? It would have been like 3 cost and stun an enemy and deal 2 damage or something like that. So it feels a little restrictive, and it's not a card that I would include in every deck by any means, but it definitely has its place. It's still a card I actually enjoy playing a fair amount. Like I said, I used to play it, I think, a lot, but more recently, it's just a card that I play kind of sometimes. And one thing I'll mention is I talk about Gamora a lot in my live streams because I really like Gamora. And I like the ability that you can put in the attack events and the thwart events. And this is one I've been playing around with more and more, of putting it into her kit, because she does have 2 keen resources that let you, generate 2 resources. And then you can throw away a card or whatever. And it seems to work, because a lot of times I play my Gamora like in aggression or justice, and I throw in like this card and some other random ones or whatever, depending on what the scenario is like. But she doesn't really have a good stun option. I feel like this is a way to get her to stun. And the only reason I bring up the Gamora example is not that it's the only one out there, but it's just like an example of a hero where they don't really have a natural stun ability, but I think a card like this would really benefit them with it. So anyway, like I said, Tackle's not a card I use all the time in anything, or not a card I use all the time or anything like that, but Endurance apparently is a new version of this card, but whatever. Endurance is a card I use 80-90% of the time, especially with heroes that have low hit points. Even Valkyrie, right? Valkyrie has 12 hit points, which is pretty high. But I'll still throw this in because you get this and her horse Aragorn, and now she has like 7 more hit points. So she's at 19, which is crazy. But 3 hit points is just so much to add on. It's just a card that I think in the vast majority of decks, unless I'm trying to really fine-tune a deck where I want to do a very specific thing, it's just so nice to be able to put this on, increase my max hit points by 3, and essentially heal 3 as well, right? Because the second you put it on, you raise your max and you raise your current level by 3. Just remember, if it goes away, it goes down by 3. So it's one of those things where I think it makes sense a lot. I mean, for 1 cost, it's really cheap. It's easy to put in. I don't know. I'm a big fan of this card. And what's funny is I see a lot of newer decks not running Endurance, which I consider kind of a staple. Not an auto include, but a solid staple that I do put in most of my decks nowadays. So anyway, I want to know your thoughts, right? Endurance. Do you use a lot? Do you put it in your deck a lot? Like I said, for me, I think it's a 90% card at this point that I put in the vast majority of my decks. Maybe it's overkill and I really don't need to. So what do you feel about Endurance? And then same with Tackle, right? What do you feel about Tackle? Do you use it still? Did you used to use it a lot, or do you use it more now, or do you use it kind of like the same? I just want to thank everyone once again for the amount of support this channel has received in the past few months. It's crazy to me. It's absolutely crazy. We keep growing. There's more and more content out there that's getting more and more views. It's just it's really cool to see. And I really can't thank you all enough for watching the videos, sharing the videos, subscribing, lurking on the live streams, talking the live streams, being a part of whatever the event is. Because we're doing more like fun things in the live streams. They're like a little bit different than just general playthroughs sometimes. Not all the time, but sometimes. So anyway, I really appreciate everyone supporting the channel. It truly means a lot. And yeah, hopefully you enjoyed this video, and we're on the road to 10K.